What's good? What's good? It's your boy, Timothy Love, and today I'm just gonna be walking through the Eaton Center with my camera, no drama. Let me tell you about life in Toronto. I've been living in Toronto since 2005. I moved to Toronto when I was 14. I went straight to high school. It was okay. But I'm 33 now, so that's 17 years of living in Canada. I've noticed the good and the bad. Let's start with the good. Toronto is perhaps the perfect introduction to Canada. It's Canada's biggest city as well as its most diverse, and it's possible to find a token of most cultures from around the world in Toronto. For me, that was a bonus point. For obvious reasons, I love Indian food and Chinese food and Jamaican food. I mean, Toronto is not short of supplies, especially when it comes to restaurants and sceneries. All the good ones, especially the good restaurants, they're in Mississauga and Brampton. That's if you like Indian food. It's cheap and delicious. It goes down well, and trust me, you're not gonna have any stomach issues. Like, I remember I got a big plate of food from this Indian restaurant in Brampton. That was during my lunch break. Bro, I could not finish it. It was a lot of curry goat on there, some rice, some veggies. And getting around Toronto is a breeze. It's very easy. I mean, like, the infrastructure in Toronto, like I said, is great. You can use a TTC if you don't want to use your car. Spend like $3 to take the bus to get you from one side of the city to the next side. It's never really hard to get somewhere within downtown or anywhere, like from Scarborough to the edge of Mississauga. We can get there within an hour using the TTC. The main method of getting around is trams. That's the streetcar. That's what they call them in Toronto. Or if you don't want to use a streetcar, you can use an Uber, or you can use a Lyft. Cabs are very expensive, but it is what it is. I'd rather use an Uber, because an Uber will pick you up straight from your house without having to talk to anybody. All you gotta do is type into your phone, and that's it. If you're looking for entertainment, bars, clubs, Toronto is a city for you. It has some great entertainment. Just don't come to Toronto when you find you spent all your paycheck in one place. Torontonians themselves are welcoming. They're generally willing to help those who look lost or in need of assistance. Within our first few months in Toronto, I was invited to a bunch of Thanksgiving dinners by friends, my neighbors, because we lived in a flat on Jane and Finch. And when they found out that my mom, me, my brother, and my sister, we just moved into the country, they invited us over. Like, we had a party, we ate a lot of food. We had some decent Jamaican neighbors, man. Well, they're not all Jamaicans, they were like Caribbean. Been friends since. So yeah, Torontonians are very, very welcoming. And during the summers, as a consolation prize for the extended months of ice in Toronto, it gets very hot and humid in the summer. Which invariably means spending summers out of town alongside lakes, trips to Toronto Islands on the ferry, and plenty of things to do in Toronto. Go over to the bad side of Toronto. The cost of living has been creeping steadily up in Toronto over the recent years. Rent is going up every year. As more people move to the city and demand for everything, things just go up, especially bills. Gas prices go up, rent prices go up, groceries go up. Among the most expensive things in Toronto are housing. Transportation is expensive. Okay, monthly transit costs $160. So imagine that, bro. As you keep going down, you notice that Eaton Center is a very beautiful mall. Like, it's huge. Look how the floors are shining, gleaming. You might think you walked into the Queen's Palace in Buckingham. That's what is this, Old Navy, female section. I don't know why I'm entering the female section, but it is what it is. Let me check this out. It looks kind of lame, very colorful. I don't like too many colors. I like navy blue or black. That's it. Or maybe a little bit of white on top. The thing about Toronto, the construction has soared in popularity as to compared when I first moved here. Clearly, more accommodations needs to be built. because people are moving to Toronto like every day. There's people at the airport, like they're coming from Africa, they're coming from Asia, they're coming from England, Europe, and they're moving to Canada. And you're like, wow, why are you moving to Canada? It's because it's a land of opportunities. I know somebody from China moved to America, got their citizenship, everything. They don't want to live in the US anymore. So you know what they're doing? They applied for a PR card. PR card is permanent resident. So they're gonna move to Canada. So imagine being Chinese, US, and Canadian citizenship. That's crazy. Also in Toronto, the skyline, like many other cities, has become peppered with cranes. There's new construction every day. Like if you look at the skyline right now, if you take a picture, like if you sit in the Toronto Island and just look back into Toronto, the skyline is filled with cranes, which tells you that Toronto is growing. While development truly necessary and caused by immigrants such as, we experienced the reality of living in what is essentially a big construction site. That's if you go downtown around Queens Quay and Yonge, okay, Lakeshore Boulevard, just around there. Ooh, construction all day, every day. All you hear is hammering, drills, people yelling, trucks moving, cement pouring. That's all you hear, man. But yeah, that's a beauty. That's a good thing. It shows you that Toronto is never gonna die. We're here forever, okay? We're gonna last until the last minute. You feel me? The distances, as an African, me coming from Africa, I'm used to the idea of hopping on a train from Toronto to Mississauga. I can get used to that because when I was in Africa, we used to walk everywhere. The infrastructure was poor, roads were bad. Basically, you had to walk everywhere. But here, I mean, I got used to it within the minute I stepped into a train. I'm like, wow, I like this. Although Toronto is actually one of Canada's best connected cities, with frequent trains to Montreal and onwards to Quebec or Ottawa, Niagara and London, what looks like a tiny hop on the map can turn to be a 7-hour drive. Like imagine driving from, like let's say you're a tourist, right? You want to drive from Toronto, you want to visit London, then you want to come from London and visit Niagara, then from Niagara you go to Ottawa. Okay, it's a lot of driving, but it's gonna last at least 7 hours, bro. Okay, so let's say from Toronto to London, that's 3 hours, and then from London to Niagara, that's another 4 hours, and then back home. Nah, bro, don't even do it. Don't bother. Just stay in Toronto. There's a lot to see. You can go to the museum. You can go to the zoo, Toronto Zoo. I frequent the Toronto Zoo almost every week because they keep promising to bring new animals. I love animals. I just wish they bring some new animals in there. But the new Toronto Zoo president is against keeping animals in cages, and I agree with him or her. They're trying to change up. They want to turn Toronto Zoo into some type of national park where animals can move freely instead of being in a cage all year, which I think is beautiful, you know, like because when I was in Africa, they do have these safaris where animals move freely, but then humans can walk within their territory without being harmed. You just have to know where you're going. I've been on a safari before, way back in the day. It was fun. I saw some lions and some elephants and giraffes and shit like that. The Canada you've seen on Instagram is not Ontario, okay? It's very different. Depending on your perspective, this might be a good thing, but generally, we've found that when people think of Canada, they're thinking of Banff, Lake Louise, the Rockies. Well, Ontario, and especially not Toronto, look nothing like that. Follow me on Instagram, and my job description is in my profile bio. So yeah, for those of you who are curious, you can go check it out. I used to shop at Urban Planet back in the day, but not anymore. You know why? Because Urban Planet sucks, man. I just buy the cheapest clothes and that's it. Like I'll go to the dollar store, buy a bunch of shirts, like 55 cents each, buy like 10 of them, and that's it, you know? Like 10 t-shirts, white, 5 black, 5 white, and I'm good for the rest of my week. Well, not a week, the year actually. You know what I mean? So you just recycle those t-shirts every year, and then you go to a Mark's warehouse, get you one of those tough pants like the Levi's. The Levi's, they don't get ripped easily, you know? Or you can get you a Dickies or Dakota, some good pants. They don't rip easy, and when you wash them, they stay strong. The fabric is good. That's the way I shop. I don't really go into that kind of, Versace, Gucci, Moschino. Like, come on, man. It's too materialistic, Life is short. You gotta go out there and enjoy life. Like the same way I'm in here, Eaton Center, taking a tour.